Now let's talk about the problem. The LLM will have to create, if the LLM would create a call to a database for getting data like fetching the school students, it would need to query the Mongo data or any database, and it needs the username, password, and it needs the database name, and all that would be a big task for LLM. Now let's come to the solution. There should be a way to decouple that task from LLM to us, the MCP server. There should be a way to wrap the data access logic. And this solution is created by a company called Anthropic. Now let's talk about the solution architecture. The LLM requests a MCP client to send the prompt is sent to the LLM, and then the LLM requests the MCP client to send the request to a server, to the MCP server. The request is sent to the MCP server, and the MCP server accesses various databases or data sources. And then the response goes back to the LLM, and then the LLM shows it to user. Now let's talk how does an MCP server work. A user sends prompt to LLM. The LLM checks that if it needs data to respond to the user's question. LLM calls MCP server tool for the data needed. MCP server sends the data back to LLM. And the LLM structures it and responds it to the user. Here is a simple MCP server. You should clone the repo of Anthropic. Here there are a lot of awesome MCP servers. Let me show you the repo. Here are some awesome MCP servers. You can read about them here. See. Now let's connect it with Ollama. Ollama is running Llama 3.2 model, and it exposes an API. And the API sends the request to the API client or MCP client to respond to the servers to get the data. The MCP client sends the request to MCP server, and the same response goes back to Ollama. And there is an extra component called MCP bridge because Ollama doesn't support MCP. Now here are some parts of MCP demo which I will show you in next slide. This is the LLM API. This is going to connect with LLM, and the next part is the LLM and the MCP server connection. Now let me go to the demo. First, let me show you my local Ollama model running. Now I send it any prompt. If you want to send me any prompt, just tell me. See, it's working like ChatGPT. It is a local model, it is a local chat GPT like installed in my laptop. Now let me go to my demo of MCP servers. And before going to the demos, ask me any question that I briefly talked about. Any questions that I talked about briefly? The code is very complicated, so don't go into the complication. I'm just going to tell you some core parts. This is called list tool, where there is a function which describes the tool. This is the name of the tool, and this is the fetch, and this is the description of the tool. Now let's go to the core tool. This is the main core part of the server. Here it is calling a function to fetch URL here, and here it is sending the response. Now let's go to the MCP bridge. Again, the code is complicated, so please don't go into the complication of the code. Here also I am going to explore some core parts. Here there are two configs called bridge config and LLM config. In bridge config, this is the directory of the server. And in LLM config, this is the information about the LLM. This is the name of the model, and this is the API of that model. And now let's go to the last part, where a user is going to send prompt to LLM. Here it is connected to the MCP server, and here is the description of the tool. Now let me enter a sample prompt. See, it is analyzing my website, sharmaviras.com. I have created it, and here there are a lot of information about me. has analyzed the data. Here there is the analyzed output of my website. So now I am done with the demo. Let me move to the next slide. Here I have thought of some enhancements to add in MCP server. There should be something called intelligent MCP, which means that the MCP server will predict that when it will get data, or it will do some computer vision tasks, etc. If you guys have any more enhancements for intelligent MCP, just mail Anthropic. And now let me show, and the demo snippets, if you want to know more about them, I have my repo. Here are my snippets of my demo, which I showed you. And there are core parts. There is no complication also, which was there in my demo. And my repo is a huge mess, but I bet it can turn a 10-year-old JavaScript kid into a Python kid. And if you want to know more about me or connect me, just scan this QR code, and these are links in which you can know about me more. Thank you.
Questions? Any questions?
Any questions? No question.